All right, so welcome back to another Back to Basics with Kendra. I should say Art Impressions Watercolor Back to Basics with Kendra. I'm Kendra. And today we are going to be playing with the Southwest set. So that is going to be number 4763 Southwest, and that's going to be this one. So you have all these really cute pieces in here, these two cacti. This one kind of reminds me of like a snake plant. And then you've got rocks here and a pot, and then this really adorable foliage or flower. You could use it either way. Okay, so the number for this one is 4763. And we are going to be doing this little project. And I wanted to show you a few little tips and tricks on how to make this little project, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to switch the camera over, and actually this is the only set I'm using today. So all we're using is stamps that are in this set, okay? So let's get a move on, and I'm going to switch the camera. Okay. So let's make sure I am in position here. Okay. So just one more little look at the set here. You've got the pot, the two cacti, the little, this little foliage here, which I can turn it so you can see it the right side up. Reminds me of a snake plant or something similar. And then the rocks, the pot, and this little foliage or flower, which is so, so cute. And we're gonna be using this pot, this cacti, and the rocks, and then this little guy for the flowers on top. So you can see we put the little pink flowers on top of this, and I think it's just so cute. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so I'm gonna take my, if you're new, I am using the Canson 140 pound cold press watercolor paper. You really need to use watercolor paper for this technique because you'll get a lot of waves and the water will really distort your paper if you're using something like cardstock, you will have a problem, okay? So I am going to be taking first my little rocks. So we're going to do the rocks first, and I am going to ink this with that number 565 and 969. And I'm gonna do these because I want that really beautiful gray color, okay? So let's zoom in a little bit here. And I'm gonna grab that 565 and just ink these rocks right away. Now, the reason I'm doing the rocks first is because the pot is actually sitting behind them. So whatever is in the front is what you want to put down on your paper first. So I have my 565, and then my 969 is gonna go right over the top of that, okay? And I need to stamp this off one time to get that really heavy ink off. And then I can take it and stamp it onto my project paper. Okay. So now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to begin to pull out some of the color on these rocks. Now, this top part is really going to be where the highlight is. Okay, so if the sun is coming down, the top of your rocks is going to be highlighted, and then your shadows are going to be underneath here, okay? So we're going to begin to pull out some of this color into the rocks. And these rocks are so cute. Who saw the brand new rocks release? so beautiful. So many options. I know a lot of you guys love working with the rocks, and now you have lots and lots of rocks to work with. They're just beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna take my palette, and I need a little bit more color on these. So I'm gonna take my palette, and I'm gonna use that 969, and then also the 565. And I'm gonna mix a little bit of these colors together to make that gray. So that gray that we make on the stamp, we can make on our palette. And then we can use this on our rock, okay? Just to deepen some of these shadows that we want in here. And these don't have to be perfect. You just kind of drop them in. You do want to leave some areas highlighted, especially on the tops of the rocks. Sandy got her rock set today in her Happy Mail. Oh, that's great. So did Carolyn. Awesome. That is so great to hear. The rocks are so much fun, and they add a lot. You know, you go outside and there's just rocks everywhere, so you can definitely add them to a multitude of your projects. All right, I want these just a little bit darker on the base, so I'm going to use that N25, and I'll go back to this color a little bit later. But it's really nice to use this color in various areas in your project if you know you're going to use it. So I used it for the little decoration here on the pot, and then I wanted to use it also in the rocks just to connect everything together. Okay. So I'm going to take that N25, just a little bit of that. This goes a long way. This is really pretty dark. So I'm just going to drop some of that N25 into my rocks and then just very lightly smooth it out. And you know, rocks have all kinds of different colors in here, so it's okay to just drop it in and let it do its thing. All right, we'll zoom in a little bit further here. Okay, now that my rocks are pretty much done, I'm probably gonna have to come back and add maybe one more shadow in there. But what I wanna show you is actually a little bit later with the rocks. And you can see here how the rocks were finished at the bottom. So I'm gonna show you how to do that, because if you look here, the rocks stamp is not finished. It's not finished on purpose so that we can put grass around it or whatever we want to. But I'm going to show you how to finish it so it looks like it's actually sitting, a little rock pile is sitting on the ground. Okay. So I'm going to take a little masking paper, and I'm going to put this over my rocks because my pot is going to go right behind them. And if I don't use a masking paper, it's just going to stamp right through the middle of those rocks. So I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to ink my pot. And I'll use number 969 for this. So 969, and then I'll also take a little bit of that 565, and I'm going to ink just some parts of this, just on the sides. Okay, and then again, I will stamp this off because I don't want it to be super, super heavy ink. And then I'll take my stamp, and you can always use a stamp positioner if you're not sure where you want this to go. But I'm not too concerned about it being perfect. So I'm just gonna stamp it in, and then I can take off my little paper here. It looks like that is maybe a little piece of ink that I missed. That's okay. Okay. Take my brush, and we are going to begin to pull out the shadows on this little pot here. Okay. I'm just pulling out the shadows. Remember, on pots, we want to keep our highlight in the center. So we want to keep the highlight right down the middle. It doesn't have to be perfectly even, but we want to set the stage so that we have highlight in the middle and then shadows on the outside, okay? I'm gonna go back to my palette and I am going to add number 947, which is a really nice warm brown, 947. Take your brush and we will begin to add this color into our pot, keeping in mind where our shadows are, which are on the outside, and then our highlights, which are in the center. Okay. And I can layer this. I can add a little bit of the 969 if I want to darken up the edges. Okay. So that 969 up here, kind of forgot I already had it on here. Take that 969 then a top. All right. So 969. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that brown just to the outside and the base of this pot. Just deepen it up a little bit. What a nice, rich color on here. Okay. We'll set that aside and just kind of let this dry now, because we will put in, next we'll put in our little cactus up here, and then we'll come back in and put that design work into the pot. But for now, while this is drying, I want to show you how to do this rocks down here, these rocks. Okay, so when you're doing the rocks, like I said, it has it's open at the bottom, and I'll show you my stamp off page here. It's open at the bottom so that you can put little grass in here or whatever you want to put in here. Maybe you want to stack the rocks and you want to put another one here or another one down here. So it's really user-friendly, but it doesn't have a bottom in case you want to just have this be sitting on the floor. So what we can do is just take our little pencil, and we can just draw in the little base piece of these rocks just like this. Okay, so we'll do that on here. So it's just a free-handed couple of lines, and I'm going to take this and just put that there, put a little line there. And then all of a sudden, our rocks are sitting on the ground. So use your pencil, and if you get a line in there that you don't like, just erase it and try again. If you use a pencil, you can totally do that. Okay, and then we'll come back later and put in our shadows at the end, okay? But for now, this is dry. I'm going to take a little bit of masking tape, and I'll just put that right over the top of my pot, okay? Because I want my little cactus to sit in the pot. Zoom out just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take my cactus, and you know, your first initial thought when you're coloring any cacti or a cactus is that you're gonna color it green, right? But if you just color it green, it doesn't seem rich enough. It's not heavy enough of a color to hold the weight of a cactus. And so what we recommend is actually coloring it with the 565 blue or the brown or a darker green. So I'll take that 565 blue and I will color the whole thing in blue. Stamp that off one time, and then I'll color it with the green. This is 177. And this just gives it a really nice, rich green that has a little bit of dimensionality. Okay, and then also I like to do a little 969 just on this base here. Just like that. I'll stamp it off one more time because that's a lot of ink. And then I'll come in here and decide where I'm going to put it. And then how about right there? Okay. All right. Hi, Jerry. Okay, so I'm going to take this off now. And voila. We have our cactus in the pot. Hi, Anne. Good to see you. So happy you're here. Jerry, I'm a little bit late, but glad I finally made it. Me too. So glad you're here. Okay. Now I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to begin to pull out some of the color in this cactus. So as you can see some of that blue-green coming out. This is just a really nice base to start our cactus. Okay. So I'm just going around piece by piece. I'm not drawing through all of them at once. I'm going section by section and leaving some highlights, right? Leaving just a little bit of a highlight in there. I guess we can zoom in a little bit more here. All right, now that we have our base, we can take now that 177. Actually, I'm going to turn this so I can get more colors in here. I'm going to take that 177 by itself, 177, and then also this really bright neon green, number 173, and we're going to be bringing some really bright greens onto the website. So if you have one, use it. If you don't have one, we will be selling them shortly, so you'll be able to get one, okay? All right, so I'm going to take that 177, grab that off of my palette, and just begin to add this green into the cactus. And we're going to begin to layer some of these colors. Okay. You can take that 173 and just mix it a little bit with the 177. And then just on the top of your cacti, just on the top, you want to add that really bright green because it almost looks like a shadow or a highlight. It kind of gives it just a sense that there's a little highlight up here. That's that 173. It's just so pretty. I love this really bright green. All right, and you know I'm a big advocate for continuity, so we're going to add a little bit more of that 565 in here. Just down where the shadows would be on every little section. All right. You could also, if you wanted to, you can take that N25 if you want a really deep shadow, and you can add some of that in here, which is really nice too. And then you're getting the N25 in the rocks, in the pot, and in your cactus. Okay. Now I'm going to take the detail tip of that 177 pen, and we're going to exaggerate some of these little needles, okay, because they're so tiny. I'm just going to come in here, and the ones that sort of got watered out, I'm just going to put a little bit of color back into those. Can you see the difference there? It's so nice just kind of letting these pop out again. So you don't have to worry about them too much when you're coloring in your cactus, because you can always come back in and add that detail later. Okay, there's another one, and then we'll add one up here. And there. Okay, I think we got most of our little needles in there. All right, so we got our little cactus here, and he's kind of coming to life now, huh? So I'll zoom out just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to put in the back of this pot. So we're going to take our pencil again, and we need to create a back for this pot, just like that. So we need to finish the backing because, and again, it's left off in case you want to put a bunch of grass or more flowers or foliage or whatever you want to. But if you only want to do a single cactus, you can finish this backside and make it look like a really nice rounded pot. Okay, so can you see the difference? It's just the front of it here, but you can finish it off in the back. Okay, so we'll take our pencil and we will just draw a very light line in the back. And if you don't like it, you can erase it and try it again. Okay. And I still don't like that. So it's honestly, it's just you just do it until it looks right to you. And that's better. That's the nice thing about a pencil. If you do it with a pen, you're kind of stuck with what you do the first time. Okay, and then you can do, I'll do this little line right here. All right, so there is my drawing. And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start painting in this background in the pot. So I'm going to use the 969. This nice dark brown, and I'm going to place just a layer down in here. That would be maybe my soil or what have you. And this back area is actually going to be quite dark, but what you want to remember is that you want to leave a highlight right at the brim, because that is going to be highlighted in real life. Okay, so anything that's facing up or facing the sky is going to have a highlight. Okay, so I'll take that 969 again and just drop in a little bit more color. Now you can, if you want to make this really dark, make a little line with your 969 marker. So the detail tip of your 969, you can take that and just do a little line in here. And this is what is going to sit the cactus down into the pot. Okay, so now I have a nice rounded pot here. All right, take that 969 again and just drop a little bit more color in here. And just kind of hug your cactus with that brown. All right, for the detail on the front, what I want to do first before I do that is I want to put just a little bit darker of a shadow right here next to these rocks. I really want that extra little oomph next to the rocks. Just give it some, give it its own little shadow in there. Okay. And then we can take our, yes, Diane, hug your cactus. With the soil, not with your hands. Okay, so I'm going to take my pencil, and to do the little design, I'm going to take my pencil, and you can see my design is not perfect, and it's fine. I think it kind of adds that hand-painted feel. Like if you see a pot that's hand-painted, it's not going to be perfect. So this kind of gives you that idea a little bit. So you're going to draw 1, 2, 3 lines, and your lines need to curve with the pot, okay? So I'll show you. If we were to draw a straight line, and I'll show you on my practice paper here, it's going to flatten our pot. It doesn't look right, right? So I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to draw this line with a bit of a curve to go with the pot, and this is what's going to look like it's rounded. Do you see that? Amy says, is there a reason why you left white between the cactus and the rocks? Yeah, so I leave a white cushion between colors. So you don't have to, but I do think it adds kind of a little element, a little break between the elements on your paper. There's no right and wrong way to do it. It's just a personal thing that I really like, and I think adds to the project. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 and then 2 and then 3. So do you see how I'm curving these? And then when I do my lines, the center lines are going to be straight, but as I go out toward the sides of my pot, these are going to begin to curve just ever so slightly, and then they curve a little bit more and a little bit more. Okay, so then a curve and curve and curve. All right. Mary, the brush I'm using is a number 4 synthetic bristle brush. It's a connoisseur, and we have it on the website if you're interested. Okay. So now I'm going to do that exact same thing onto my project pot. So I'm going to take my pencil and do a curved line. So I'm going to curve that. And then I will curve again. And then I'll curve one more time with this little design here. Okay, and then I will take, let's zoom in, I'll take my pencil and do the 2 lines out front like this. And then as I go out to the edges, those lines are going to be curving out, and the curve you want to use is the same curve as the edge that you're trying to reach. So I'm going to curve it the same way as this edge. Okay, so then I curve and curve. Now this edge is going to come this way, so I want to curve this line the same way. Okay. Now that I have the base of my design, I'm going to take that N25, somewhere on my palette, and we'll just give us a little bit more here. So this is the N25. And we'll take our brush and grab some of that N25, and then we're gonna color this like a checkerboard. So it's gonna be the every other one will be dark, and then we will bricklay it. So where there's an empty space here, the one above it will be colored in. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one back here, and then I'll come up here. Oops, I missed one. Oh well. Well, this is a hand-painted one, you guys. The artist was unsure about what she was doing. So we'll just make this a big one on the edge. Whoops. We just go with it, you know. I was focusing too hard. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one here. And then the one above and below and above and below and above. Okay. Yes, Jerry, that was planned. Thanks, Diane. She says, good save. You know, especially when you're on video, you've got to think fast. Okay. But you know what? These are stuff that we do when we're stamping anyway. So I actually don't mind when this kind of thing happens, because it's one of those things that we all do. And sometimes even the instructors do it. Okay, so I'll just kind of come over this and add a little bit more color. I'm going to layer that in another time, just like that. Okay, and I'll take that same color. You can either do this with the detailed tip, or you can do this with your brush. But now, once you're satisfied with those lines, you're going to come in and follow them with that N25. Same thing in here. There's a line in this one. Where did that line go? Oh, here. I think it just got really small at the other side. Okay. And then the one at the top. And you just take your time. You don't have to rush these. You can just take your time. If you want to make it really dark, you can come in. I kind of like to make the ones on the edge darker, because it kind of goes with the shadows being on the outside. So I do kind of like to make the edges just a little bit darker than the center. take my brush and just smooth that out just a little bit. Okay, you guys, we're getting somewhere. Now, we are going to put in our flowers on top of the cactus. And you don't have to do this, but these do flower, and they are so cute when they flower. So I'm going to use the little, it's either a flower or a foliage in this one, this little one right here. And I'm just using this very top piece to create this flower. So I'm just going to use that very, very top few leaves colored in that 725, I forget what this, it's like, it's actually colored, it's called a red, but rhodamine red maybe, but it's definitely a very bright pink. Okay, so I'm going to take this and just ink that very top. And what I want to do is take this and just stamp it in a couple times, just to give it a wider appearance as opposed to just the thin single stamp. And then same thing here, we'll stamp here on the side, and then maybe just a little bit more right there. Okay. Take your brush and just very lightly dab that pink. You can always add a little bit more pink too if you want to, using that detail tip. These I like to be really bright. So if you want to add some really bright elements to that flower, you can do it with your detail tip. All right, and the last thing we have to do is put in our shadows at the bottom, and we'll do that using the 565 and the 969, that really nice gray. So I'll take these two, the 565 and the 969, mix those up, make that a nice gray. And I do like to kind of go a little heavier on the 565. I like it to be a little bit more blue. And then we will go right under these rocks. Okay, just like that, and create this shadow in here. Same thing with the pot, and you want to come all the way out to where the pot edges, just like that. Okay, and then you can have your little shadow in here. Oh, was I off camera? Oh no, I wasn't. Okay. It's like, oh no. I'm going to take a little bit of that N25 again. Okay, N25. And I want to add just a little bit more shadow to the base of these rocks and to the pot. Just make it really heavy right underneath. Just kind of gives the illusion that the sun is really strong. Okay, and you can always take your detail tip if you want to and just put in some extra little areas. I'll put in my little dots here. You could use the stamp, but I really want them to be tiny for this. I want it to really just kind of blend in more so than anything else. Put these in. And you can put the base of your rock back in if you want to. If that pencil wasn't strong enough, you can do that. So do you see, I just enhanced the bottom of the rock that I used with the pencil. and just gave it a place to sit. Okay. All right. And of course you could do a little sky in the background if you want to. I'm going to keep this one really simple and just sign my name. And put the date. Okay. What did we think? Did we like this? Was it fun? Are you going to try it? Okay. I'll just do one more little zoom in for you if you want to screen capture anything. And then I will go ahead and flip back around. Okay. Whoops, maybe. Hello. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm seeing just my eyes were there for a second. It was like this. Hello. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for joining. Once again, we used 4763, and this Southwest set is so fun, you guys. I don't know if you've seen this dressed up for Christmas, but we'll definitely, or I will definitely be doing a Christmas theme with this one for all of you who live in the South where the cactus, you know, are running wild, or the cacti are running wild. So I definitely want to do a little Christmas theme with this. I think it would be super cute. So I'd love your ideas in the comments of what you think I should do, or maybe some ideas that I should be thinking about for Christmas and the holidays, because we are in July. You know, we're 6 months away from Christmas. So surprisingly, it's gonna fly by. And I know some of you like to get started really early, and I would just love to start thinking about maybe some basics Christmas ideas, or basics Thanksgiving, you know, Halloween, things like that. So if you want to leave those ideas in the comment section, that would be really helpful for me to see what you want to see. And then for next week, we're going to be doing 5196 watercolor desert set. Okay. So watercolor desert set is going to be this one. So we're going to stick with that theme of the dry desert. Okay. So we're going to do this one next week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that is that. Okay, so if you can't get enough Art Impressions watercolor, definitely check us out. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. Bonnie, my mama, the queen bee, is going to be on tomorrow morning, excuse me, with a brand new project. So cute. I saw it today and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. You guys will absolutely love it. If you can't be there for the live, definitely watch the replay, and you will absolutely like be jamming to the website to get this set if you haven't gotten it. It's so darn cute. So definitely be there. If you have any questions, let us know. Of course, this will be, like so many others, posted to YouTube and on the Facebook timeline. So if you like that higher quality video, definitely go to YouTube, okay? It will be on there. It's in HD. So check it out there. If I wanted to mention also, if this is too fast for you, if you go on YouTube, you can actually slow down the speed and turn off the volume so that you can just see it really, really slow. So I would suggest watch it once through and then turn down. There's a little icon at the bottom of the video on the right, and you can click that and it will show the different speeds. And if you make it down to 0.75 instead of 1, it will actually slow the video down quite a bit, okay? And then you can go down to 0.5 and then 0.25, and it will go really, really slow. So if that's something you think would benefit you, definitely try that out on YouTube. It's a really, really good option, okay? And I love you all, and I will see you next week for Back to Basics, and we'll be doing the watercolor desert set. Okay? I'll see you then. Mwah. Bye!